All right, welcome back. So here we are dealing with, I guess, the after effects of yesterday's smog alert, the day we were having the worst air quality in the entire world of any major city. Today, better. Smog warning was lifted. Before we even get to our guests, I did want to play this back for you now. So Jill Baumgartner, who's an associate professor of environmental epidemiology at McGill, was on earlier this morning and talking about, what you can do. And I didn't even know this. There are apps, apparently, to let you know. Well, here, take a listen to what she said.
There's lots of free mobile apps that you can put on your phone to get, especially in summers and falls when we're going to have, increasing number of wildfire events like this. So when air quality is bad, you at least know about it, right? The media does a good job of covering that as well. And I think then you can make informed decisions about what you want to do.
So there you go. Informed decisions, so doesn't have to necessarily be looking out your window and going, wow, that seems terrible. It may not be that, but at least if you have one of those apps and you are prone,
can't hurt.
Yeah, it's better to be aware. And they are there and they're free. So that's number one. Then we wanted to talk about, you actually came up with this, Natasha, right? You saw this listing and you said there's actually a group called IQ Air.
IQ Air. And so when we were rated the worst in all of the world, that's their rating. And then we fell to third today, last 15th, and now it seems we're under control. But I was like, what does that mean? So we wanted to speak with a representative. Glory Dolphin Hammes is the CEO of IQ Air North America, and we're joined by Glory right now. Thank you so much for your time today.
Absolutely.
So
Great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you. We're so curious. How does this work? How do you determine where the air is the worst in the world?
Great. So we actually have about 60,000 air quality monitors worldwide. So we actually are providing air quality data to the United Nations Environmental Program as well. So we get to aggregate lots and lots of data points, and through these data points, we're able to determine which major cities, and there is a distinction between cities and major cities. So major cities, we have approximately 108 major cities that we qualify as major cities, and they have a certain level of population, and they also are just major cities really truly around the world. So you can see what the list is of exactly those 108 cities, and we rank the cities according to air pollution based on that.
And when we get a bad rating like we had, yesterday, the worst in the world, what does that mean? What kind of action should people take in response to that information?
Okay, so Montreal was really bad yesterday. It was beyond, in terms of AQI, there's AQI that assesses essentially the air quality index, and it's essentially green, yellow, red, but what happened yesterday was very unusual. So we usually see green, yellow, red, but yesterday we were seeing purple and maroon. And purple and maroon are basically very unhealthy, and maroon is hazardous levels.
Whoa.
And AQI is there to assess risk, so it lets folks know how clean or how dirty the air is and what the health effects are as a result.
So in a case like that, it's great that we know it's serious, obviously. I think we could tell yesterday just by stepping outside and recognizing that. Where does it go from there? So you offer that information, you mentioned to the agency, to the UN agency, and then what happens?
Yeah, so it's there to inform risk, and people can take the necessary actions, look at the health recommendations so that they can reduce their exposure. This is about having real-time hyper-local data so that people can reduce their exposure to air pollution. You can do that through different ways, staying indoors. Definitely in a day like yesterday, definitely do not exercise outdoors. You can also reduce your exposure by wearing a mask. Some people wear a mask when they go outside, but in a day like yesterday, it would have also been highly appropriate to wear a mask indoors as well.
Oh, really? Okay. What I'm wondering is, since your company is monitoring this on a day-to-day basis, you undoubtedly see the same cities, the same places come up over and over again. I'm wondering if you're seeing more places like Montreal, who aren't usually on the list, who aren't doing that poorly, doing that much worse.
We are, unfortunately, and this is, of course, a result of the wildfires that are taking place. And the effects that the plume is having is purely related to what's called prevailing winds. So sometimes we saw that when we saw the effects in New York City that was quite some sight to see, but it is definitely where these prevailing winds are taking the plume within Canada. It's pretty concerning.
Yeah. We have to wrap up. I'm just wondering, what city usually tops the list? Is there one that's always on top?
Yes, usually it's Lahore in Pakistan. There is also in India, Delhi in India is also usually topping the list. But yesterday it was Montreal.
Yay for us, but not really. Gloria, thank you so much for your time. Very much appreciate it. So we go from that overview, if you will, to someone we talk to from time to time, David Phillips, Senior Climatologist at Environment Canada. David, the smog warning was lifted today. The news seems like it's going to get better. We're expecting a ton of rain, although it's not quite here yet. What's in store moving forward, though?
Well, found that interview very interesting, and but you're right. I mean, we saw that smoke that had been dominated since Montreal since about 6 o'clock yesterday morning. So the period of about 31 hours consecutive smoke kind of ended around 12 noon today. And really, when we saw that end, you also saw visibility shoot right up from something less than 5 kilometers to above 15. And then we also saw the wind directions, and that was the key. The winds, instead of coming from the northeast, the east, they were coming more from the southeast and south. So it was actually blowing the smoke back to where its source region or other areas, but certainly not in the Montreal area. And then, of course, to add help to a situation, we're seeing likely to see rain in the forecast, but hey, we've got some severe weather out there. I think we've issued a tornado warning for places like Papineau and in the upper Gatineau area, and so that is a concern, and that was certainly severe thunderstorms are in the offing for many areas. But what we're going to see, of course, are some copious amounts of rain and continuous for a long time, probably all day tomorrow and into Tuesday and to Wednesday. Now, they won't be they're not going to be a drenching kind of rain, but they're going to be continuous in the sense that you're going to get something. But you will get heavier rains when there is a thunderstorm over you, because your rainfall will be more intense. So this rain will help to scrub the air, cleanse the air. But more importantly, guys, it's going to put some of the fires out up in the east of James Bay in the Val d'Or area and also in Sheboygan. I already saw they've had 6 hours of rain in Val d'Or. And likely to be a situation that's going to continue all day tomorrow. And Chibougamau too, that rain is coming their way. So it may it's certainly going to help to put out the fires or to reduce them, and also cleanse the air. Now, some of that smoke can come back, but it depends on how much rain we get. And we're forecasting for Montreal to be a significant amount of rain, anywhere from 35 to 50 millimeters over the next couple of days. So that's really going to help to clean the air shed out and help to dampen some of those fires to the north.
Okay,
I'm so glad to hear that. I just want to wonder then about, with these thunderstorms and kind of the more severe weather we're getting, David, how big of a concern is lightning strikes up in that area?
That's a good point, Natasha. I mean, we haven't seen, let's say we're not into the lightning season. That begins in usually July, August. We've had some lightning strikes, and that's certainly been some of the triggers for these fires. But typically, I think it's a general kind of a rain, a system, a large, widespread range, slow moving, and so there's generally more likely to get rain and not what we call dry lightning with those. I mean, it's always can get some dry lightning, but I think there will be enough rain in that area over several hours and a couple of days that I think it will minimize that effect of just having dry lightning.
Dave, before we wrap up, I asked this of a guest earlier in the afternoon, because when I first heard this, I thought perhaps it was a mistake. The idea from a report that I'd heard earlier in the week, or in the last week, suggesting that this wildfire season could drag out to the end of the fall, which I'd never heard of before.
Yeah, Aaron, I mean, it's always an issue. I mean, what you see is not necessarily what you're going to get, but if you look at the odds, I mean, clearly we see in Quebec, for example, your lightning season is July and August. Now, some of these fires have been set by people. That can always be the issue, but there's a lot of conditions in place in terms of campfires and visiting the forest, and that will help to minimize that. But it's always the nature's lightning storms that will actually could trigger these lightning these fires. And of course, we know that our models are suggesting warmer than normal. Precipitation's always tough to get it right. I mean, it's hard to get it right 2 days from now, let alone 2 months from now. But certainly the tendency is for when our models we see a little drier than normal, but certainly warmer than normal. And so that tells me that we haven't seen the end of this. And there are things called zombie fires.
What?
These are fires that you think are out, but they're still burning below. And that could also come back to create a situation. But my sense is, hey, I think we'll certainly see the end before the snows fly. But my gosh, we still have 2 months in the bag. We still have 4 months to go.